36 games this season and is the Bucks' sixth man, averaging 13.7 points and 8.2 rebounds. All right, correction, suspended 25 games. Stephen A., your reaction?
I'm sad for him. For the record, to the agent, I'm not, you take the agent at his word, what he says. Just know that most of America doesn't believe you. When it comes to a professional athlete and PED use, no one's going to assume it was a mistake. So the believability factor goes right out the window in the eyes of most people. For me personally, I'm a huge fan of Bobby Portis. I'm happy it's not for the rest of the season. He gets back with about 4 games left in the regular season, 25 minutes a game, giving you 13 and 8 on 46% shooting. He's a vital component to the success of the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they'll need him in order to really try to make a run. And I'm just glad to hear that he's going to be back at the end of the regular season and available for the postseason. So this is an opportunity for him. Just continue working hard, keep yourself in shape, be ready to go.
Stephen A., how much does this hurt the Bucks? They're
the
currently fifth in the East, a game out of 4.
They could fall into the play-in. They could fall out of the top 6 slots because Detroit is right on their heels. They could fall out of the top 6 slots and end up in the play-in tournament, which means that your challenges are your challenges, because if you get out of the tournament, remember, you're getting out as a 7th or 8th seed, right, when you win the play-in tournament. Mm-hmm. And if that happens, that means you go up against the number 1 or the number 2 seed, which means it's Cleveland or Boston. And that means they're going home in the first round.
Yeah, and he just dealt with the robbery in his home as well. So tough stretch there. Milwaukee hosts the Clippers tonight as they resume their season post-All-Star.
Warriors can win the title this season. Fact or fiction?
Easy fiction, no offense to them, but they're trying to stay out of the play-in. They'd be great if they could just get to 6th place in the West. They got a lot of work just to get there. You respect their talent, but their talent is still gelling with Jimmy Butler coming. If they'd make a run in the West playoffs, it would be a tremendous thing. Forget about winning 12 games to get to the final.
But Draymond Green said they would, so we'll see if he is speaking fact or fiction. Cool. Topic number 2, the Mavs trade for AD is already a failure. Fact or fiction?
Come on, you don't really mean this, Matt Berry, as a real question. Of course this is fiction. How can you possibly say it? It's a couple of weeks old. He's played 3/4 of one game. Now, I do think that the Mavericks are under some pressure to win a championship over the next 3 years because of their decision to trade for a 31-year-old with a 25-year-old. But it's going to be decided over the next 3-4 years, not right now.
Wendy, that's why it's a game. The questions are so outlandish, you get to make fun of me on live television. The Bucks season is a failure if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that fact or fiction?
Again, this is fiction. This is disrespecting the teams that are in front of them. The Celtics are awesome. The Cavs are awesome. The Knicks are having a great season. They are closer to being out of the play-in than they are to the top 3 at this point. Giannis is having a great year. But the Bucks are a late-stage contender. They've been contending for titles for the last 8 or 9 years. They've robbed Peter to pay Paul. Their stars around Giannis have aged out. If they make it to the second round, they've done well.
Yeah, they won it back in 2021. You're thinking maybe they go on a little bit of a run, but our big man Kendrick Perkins did not hold back when talking about the Bucks' future on Tuesday.
This team is on the clock. And although we're talking about the Cavs and the Celtics and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference, who are the Milwaukee Bucks? I'm going to tell you who they should be. They should be a team that at least get to the conference finals without no question. Other than that, it's a failed season. If they don't accomplish certain goals or get into certain ceilings, is Giannis going to come disgruntled?
Bringing Shams back into the conversation because you wonder now, Giannis is the guy that makes this franchise go. You heard Perk say, is he going to get disgruntled? Shams, what are you hearing about Giannis and his feelings about being with the Bucks?
Matt, everyone knows Giannis Antetokounmpo loves the Bucks, but I'm here to tell you he loves winning more, and that's why everyone within that Bucks organization, they know what's at stake this season. They know the pressure. And every summer when Giannis looks around and he looks at the Bucks' current roster, he looks at sustained long-term winning. Where will he be able to find that? And he has said publicly on the record, if he feels like that's not attainable anymore in Milwaukee, he will look elsewhere. But of course, he has tried always to make everything work in Milwaukee, even just this season, they've gone out and gotten Kyle Kuzma. This is a team with Damian Lillard, Kyle Kuzma, Doc Rivers. They're paying Doc Rivers a significant amount after letting go of Adrian Griffin as well. So essentially paying two coaches at once over the last year or so. And Giannis has been playing otherworldly this season. You think about MVP candidates, he's right up there with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic. But he made those comments a couple years ago about failure and what failure means for the Bucks. In a lot of ways, this is championship or Eastern Conference Finals. They haven't reached that plateau ever since they won the championship in 2021. They've gotten bounced early in the playoffs, and so they do need to get back to that level to show Giannis that they're building something sustainable, building something long term.
And Wendy, you know this better than anyone, having covered the NBA for such a long time, that there's always a worry with a small market franchise that drafts a player that ends up becoming a world superstar. So how big of a risk is this with what the Bucks are dealing with Giannis to what appears to be a collision course?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a risk, but the Bucks have done everything they possibly can. And when you talk to people around the Bucks, there's no sense that Giannis has unrest. He is 100% focused every day on this team. He has shown no signs of being anything but trying to pour everything into it. And I think other than that, you're making a projection. Again, I will say this. This team won the championship in 2021. They had great teams in 22 and 23, and injuries derailed them. And last year, we'll never know because Giannis didn't get into the playoffs because of an injury. They've just had bad luck with injuries. They've had a tremendous 9-year run. The NBA is not built for teams to have 9, 10, 11-year runs, period.
To your point, even the Celtics, when they drafted so well, it's also their window. This is going to be a situation in the East, which is absolutely loaded. We see each and every year. Gentlemen, great stuff. Don't forget NBA Friday doubleheader, Jalen Brunson of the Knicks.
Các bạn vừa xem xong video phân tích của chúng tôi. Sau đây sẽ là video hướng dẫn cách làm một tấm thiệp hình trái tim cute của chúng tôi. Bây giờ các bạn cùng tôi thực hiện cách làm nhé. Rồi. Như vậy là chúng ta sẽ có được cái phần mắt này, cái phần miệng của cái hình trái tim này, đúng không? Bước tiếp theo nhé là mình sẽ cắt cái phần chân và cái phần tay cho cái hình trái tim này. Ở đây thì mình sẽ sử dụng màu vàng và màu hồng nữa. Mình sẽ cắt thành những cái tờ giấy dài và nhỏ để mình sẽ gập lại để tạo thành cái phần chân cho cái hình trái tim này nhé.